Join the crypto reality publicly funded Bigfoot study today and help us continue to document that these creatures are indeed real. Alrighty guys, welcome to the Bigfoot Researcher's Journal. This is that banner creature that I saw 2-3 years ago from the sketch. There he is. We're looking at footage today where, man, we got him good. And we're going to go over all this, man. This is some incredible footage with a Sasquatch that's over 10 feet tall. And we got killer video evidence in this one episode of the Bigfoot Researcher's Journal that giant Sasquatch are in fact real, and they do inhabit South Florida. Stick around, man. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss this. The cool part of all this footage is, we captured footage of this, and this is 2021, and then within a year I saw him, and really I think he, did it intentionally. This huge creature stepped out from the tree line and was staring at me, man. And I didn't know what to do, but I shot 3 clips and they are melted to the memory card. My camera was damaged. I threw up inside my truck. I don't know what goes on during these things, but sometimes we get out with the footage, as you can see. Keep in mind, all of the creatures that we document are actually choosing to interact with us. That's how we're catching them on film. We spend the time repeatedly going in these areas, and what you're witnessing is these creatures' willingness to trade with us, accept with us, communicate with us, interact with us. To the extent that we encourage it, will the interaction continue to grow? And it's just, our own limitations as far as being scared to death that, really have prevented us, because having seen a few of them in the sizes that they reach now, it makes it more difficult considering an approach, though we are in certain circumstances. But my goal is to get, to take you guys live and get within 60 feet of one. So I'm starting a new segment. It's going to be called 60 feet. And every time we notice that we have a creature around us, I'm going to approach the creature on camera, and we're going to see what happens when you do that. Should be interesting. And, we'll try to keep it safe. 60 feet, man. It's like it's easy to tell someone else, give me 20 steps at night, give me 20 more steps, man. I need to get you in the shot for scale. It's hard to do it yourself. So, information about the creatures. What have we learned? What we've learned is that the creatures have no coloration. They're a blank canvas. A lot of these creatures, the ones that we're attempting to study, are achromatic, and some of them are jet black to the point where it's a void color. I call it void. It has no color. It looks like space, but without little twinkles in it. All the way to what most people and pretty much everybody on Earth thinks is the color white. White is actually the absence of color, and so it renders into the achromatic scale. And achromatic colorations will pick up on any coloration. So what we've learned is a lot of these hominoids that we study, first of all, are in the achromatic scale, and their bodies are covered in this skin that can be from the jet black all the way to bright white. And I mean shocking white, like literally this thing, it's not a Caucasian color, it's a white coloration like white makeup. When you see this, it's both startling and fascinating at the same time. It doesn't look real, I can tell you firsthand. especially when they either lean back into the diffusion or if they take a step back. You can see, and you instantly become aware that there are stationary diffusion lines that sunlight is passing through and picking up colors, because the second that this bright white or achromatic individual with this silver hair moves into that diffusion line underneath the canopy or inside a shadow or behind a shadow, which seems to be exactly what the creatures seek, they instantly change color. So, seeing this gave us the advantage, and this is what we're documenting. You can see that he's in there and he's changing colors, literally adopting everything that hits his face. The shifting canopy above, the cloud cover, diffusing and refracting light in different angles off water. I mean, there's a million different things going on here, and that's why you see this kind of color change. You can see the sunlight was moving just now because the angle of the camera is changing. The angle of the camera is huge in this. There's one of those black individuals I was talking about. It's so dark you can't even see in the shadow. He's in there. They're enormous. There's several of them. They're hiding in the light. Monsters hiding in the light. Actually, I can think of about 3 or 4 neighborhoods in West Palm Beach that I would literally rather sleep in the woods with these creatures than put a cot out on the street, even though they're giant. I don't think they'd mess with us. I'm gonna have to put it to the test soon. Look at how the light just gets in the way. It's all about that, removing the light. Like, we got nostrils, big nostrils. This Banner, man, that's Banner and his buddies. I busted his ass. Another thing we've learned about the creatures is they do have a willingness to interact with human beings, and it takes very little time, a few weeks, and we'll have visitors every time we go to the same spot, and that's what it's really all about, is demonstrating a pattern. If you can demonstrate a pattern, so can they, and you're gonna figure that out real quick, man, if you're in the right area. That's the thing about Bigfoot, right? They live here with us. Nobody wants to accept that, so nobody's interacting out there. But our study is about interacting, right? First, to learn about the creatures, see if we're gonna get attacked. In the beginning, I was aggressive, and there's a good reason behind that. I figured we're gonna find out real quick. What we found out is the creatures display a degree of emotional intelligence that in a lot of cases would literally supersede human emotional intelligence. Where these creatures actually recognize the fact that they're superior in these situations, and there's absolutely no need to engage with these silly humans unless you put the group in jeopardy. And on a couple of occasions, pushing the issue, we've had creatures this size, over 10 feet, charge us through the trees. Typically we would either vacate the area or relieve the experiment of the technology that was the irritant. So relieve the irritant from the experiment, and the creatures would immediately stop and retreat. What we learned about them is that they want to engage, but in friendly ways. And that's interesting. Because it's a trap. Who knows? I just know I've been engaged by these creatures several times. And several times I retreated in a panic because they've been indifferent for so long. When they actually changed directions and started coming towards me, I didn't trust it. In our relationship, that's my wife and I and the groups that we study, they avoid visual acuity. They don't want you seeing them. And so when he starts stepping out of the tree line with dirty looks on his face and throwing stuff and doing a snap, there's no question that they want you to leave. But when they step out and they're just looking, or when you walk in and they're not retreating and they're smiling, and it's frightening. I mean, I had one of these creatures smiling, and it scared me so bad, man. My body jumped. I didn't even have a chance that I'm lucky I'm hung on film. It's in one of the 3D episodes on YouTube, or you get to actually see it on Patreon or YouTube like that. But they're immense. But making contact is the goal, and we have every intention of continuing until we can produce or be involved in a situation that we can have a positive interaction and do it on camera for everyone.